Hi, my name is Kimberly Mueller, and this is my speech on haptic touch and communication, and this is my audience. This is my mother, my aunt Lisa, my brother Tristan, and my stepdad Rory. And we even have my cousin Lindsay. This information is interesting because you may not know that every culture approves of shaking someone's hand when you first greet them. I will discuss what is haptic communication, how animals use haptic communication, cultures and haptic communication, and technology and haptic touch. Now I will talk about how we use haptic touch within communication. Have you ever touched anyone to highlight something you were saying? Maybe had your hand touched by someone who liked you. These are all countless instances of what is called haptic communication. By just using a simple touch, we can communicate hundreds of different messages, from being romantic to showing admiration to even showing love. Haptics is a means of communicating through the sense of touch. The sense of touch is a critical sense for people. Not only do we use it to feel surfaces or textures, we also use it in nonverbal communication, as well as interpersonal relationships. Haptics is vital in showing physical intimacy. It can be sexual or non-sexual. Touch can even be physical, such as hitting, kicking, scratching, etc. The sense of touch is the earliest sense we obtain in utero. It is said that human babies that have no sense of touch have a harder time surviving than that of children who are born without the sense of hearing or sight. Haptics can be successfully used or even abused. People who overly touch someone can come across as rude or even being weird. Over-touching can be interpreted the wrong way, and the person must know suitable timing to touch someone within a conversation. This brings me to my next point. Next, I will talk about how animals use haptic communication. Animals also use haptic communication. A mother may lick or nuzzle their baby. Animals may wrestle and even groom each other. For animals, touch can communicate dominance and even establish bonds. In chimpanzees, their sense of touch is advanced. Chimpanzee babies have poor vision and hearing during infancy, but they cling strongly to their mothers. Humans may shake hands, kiss, or hug when meeting as a sign of respect or affection. Apes and monkeys will also hug and kiss on meeting. Although in certain species of monkey, the visiting or newly arrived monkey will place its hand in the mouth of the monkey it is greeting. After a few minutes, the hand is withdrawn, and the other monkey will place its hand in the mouth of the visitor. This appears to be a sign of trust and goodwill between monkeys. Biologists learned that even simple organisms such as jellyfish and worms possess sophisticated touch responses. Now that I have talked about how animals communicate, I will next talk about how different cultures use touch to communicate. The sense of touch in some cultures have different meaning. Every culture values different, describing how touch is appropriate for the purpose of nonverbal communication. These differences can often lead to misunderstandings and miscommunication. In some cultures, they see touching as a sign of disrespect. In Japan, the general greeting is to bow, and touching is unaccepted. The United States general greeting is to shake hands upon addressing one another. Where in Latin America, people greet each other with one kiss on the cheek. In Spain, however, people greet each other with 2 kisses on the cheek. Now that you know how haptic communication is used while communicating, I will now inform you about how technology uses haptic feedback. Many of us currently use haptic feedback every day. Think of your cell phone, for instance. The tiny buzzes and vibrations saying you received a message to the clicks on the screen makes when you touch the screen of your phone. All use a sense of touch to communicate. Electronics have been using haptic feedback since the 90s. From the rumble pack on your Nintendo 64 to the very first cell phones. The use of haptic feedback in video games increases the reality of the game. When it's mixed with other senses, especially sight, touch dramatically intensifies the amount of data that is sent to the brain for processing. The increase in data lessens user mistakes, as well as the time it takes to complete a task. Now I have informed you on what haptic touch is, how animals use haptic communication, cultures and haptic communication, and technology and haptic touch. Thank you very much.